What comes to your mind when I say Hyundai? A whole bunch of gizmos, great design, comfort, maybe a little bit of luxury. But what about driving dynamics? That's something that we never talk about with Hyundai in the same breath, do we? That changes today.
It's me, son.
Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Hyundai car with a sporty edge, and that's not something that we regularly associate with the Korean automaker, but this is a new chapter that I am personally quite excited by. Now, I know why you guys are here. You want to know how this drives. So we're going to skip all the exterior and interior bits that we already talked about in the walk around video that's already live on our YouTube channel. Of course, we're going to talk about it a little later, but we're going to go straight to how this drives, starting of course with that engine under the bonnet. Now, I like my bad news first, and that's exactly how I'm going to do it for this video too. The engine is exactly the same as the standard hatchback, but that's what the N-Line is all about. So you get that 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, you get 120 horsepower under your right foot, and it isn't very brisk, but it's powerful enough to keep you happy at almost every circumstance. That said, that's not what the N-Line is about. Yes, you've got those visual bits in the inside and outside that are different, but Hyundai has also tuned the chassis of this car to make it a lot nicer to drive, and that's where the differences really start to become noticeable. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the suspension setup, because Hyundai has tom-tommed that all around the place and talked about how much stiffer it is, how much nicer it is. So is it any different on tarmac as compared to the 30% difference that they've talked about on paper? Yes, it is. For starters, it is definitely stiffer. It feels a lot more confident on highway speeds, and that's been an Achilles heel for Hyundai. Remember all those memes about how boaty the Hyundai cars in general are to drive? This negates all that nonsense in one nice sweeping shot. This feels pliant, it feels comfortable, but it feels really solid. It feels planted, it feels German, and that's a massive accomplishment for Hyundai. Now, over some slightly bad roads or potholes, you might feel the car a little bit too stiff, but that's a good thing, because that stiffness over bad roads translates to very good driving feedback. And I've driven it fast on highways, I've driven it on some twisty roads really quickly, and this feels really nice to drive. It feels like a different car as compared to the standard i20, and that's what the N-Line is all about. Small tweaks to make this a different experience, a slightly sportier experience for that petrol head audience that exists in India today.
Well, bang bang, it ain't a rumor, the devil's at the door.
The other change, of course, is the steering feedback. Now, steering is much stiffer, and that again is very unlike Hyundai, because on the normal cars it's light and easy to drive in the city, but this weighs up well. It feels very confident. You can get into corners really fast. You won't feel the lack of confidence that you would on some other hatchbacks that they make at higher speeds especially. And on the whole, that suspension, this steering, this chassis can take so much more. You know what? That 1 litre engine, Hyundai might not tune it out of the factory, but I can guarantee you there is somebody in India already working on solutions, and there are solutions available in general, I'm guessing internationally, for this engine to bump up the power. I don't think it should be very difficult to make maybe 30 odd more horsepower from this, and that would really make this car an absolute flyer. Now, one of the other things that Hyundai has really talked about is that exhaust note, and yes, it's slightly raspier than the standard version, slightly louder, but it's not inside the car, it's definitely not noticeable, and even outside it doesn't feel that much louder than the standard car. It's not something you can show off to your friends or something that people will notice when you drive past them. Yes, on the downshift on the inside, especially if you have the music completely turned off, you can hear that bit of grumble and bit of rumble once in a while, but it's not a big difference. Should you put an aftermarket exhaust on it? Of course you should. Not that it's legal, but well, you can have a little bit of fun anyways, isn't it? So now that we know how it drives, let's quickly talk about what's been changed otherwise. First things first, Hyundai has done a damn good job of visually differentiating the N-Line with the normal car, something other automakers have failed to do in the past. This alone will bring in buyers as you get a set of very cool new and more aggressive bumpers, side skirts, cool new wheels, a spoiler and those dual exhausts. And especially for India apparently, you get those red accents too. The changes are on the inside as well. A set of new seats with black leatherette and red accents all around. A new steering wheel too. One that feels as chunky as a nice big bar of Toblerone, and red ambient lighting and colored plastic bits. And then the fact that you get a cabin that is packed to the rafters with tech like that big touchscreen, the digital instrument cluster, or the plethora of connected car apps all help make it a very good package, offering its money's worth in 2021. And that brings us to our verdict. Should you buy one or not? Well, considering the fact that this is only about 50,000 rupees more than the standard car, I think it's a no-brainer. You have better looking front bumpers and rear bumpers. You've got an infinitely better looking set of wheels. You've got this cool overall design on the outside that makes your car look a lot cooler. You've got these nice cool interiors. You've got a suspension setup that genuinely has impressed me. Great steering feedback, a decent engine with some potential, nice automatic gearbox, a whole bunch of tech on the inside. 50,000 bucks more? I'd pay for that. And I'd pay for that, and I'd ask you to pay and get one of these so that when Hyundai sells enough of these, they can eventually get the i20N, which of course is the full-blown, red-blooded, hairy-chested hot hatchback, so that everybody who's a complete fan and fanatic of fast, small cars can go and buy those. Until then though, we'd have to be content with the N-Line, and this isn't the only one that Hyundai will launch in India.